information. And the definition of a structure could be a house. So it's a one-story building. It could be a ground floor building. But they say in Satie and Yepe, our fingers, yes, our fingers are not equal. So someone's definition of a structure is a plush building at Trasalco. Another person's definition is a kiosk or a container.
No.
So please don't be shy of your economic standing. Make sure, there are people in Accra, sadly, Lukman, very soon when you finish school, you'll be faced with you'll be, smugged in the face by the realities of time.
No.
There are people who are even shy to indicate where they stay when they apply for jobs. Someone may even say, please, can I use your address to apply for a job? Because the neighborhood has gained notoriety for one form of a vice or another. But this is not the time to be coy about where you stay. That is where Allah has put you. That is where your economic status has put you. Please don't be shy. There are people you are with on campus. You only meet them outside. They never allow you go to their homes because they are shy to show you their homes. There are people who are degree holders. They go to work from a kiosk in this city. There are people who are working in formal environments. They live in a container in this city. Because look, man, the young man or young lady just finished UG. The person is happy to even do their national service, and they earn less than $100 a month. And for decent accommodation, you have to pay a whopping 15K, 20K. How long does the person have to even work? And for all you know, after the national service, the person has to sit home 3-4 years before they can get a well-paying job. Yeah, so some will say, oh, I live here. It's just like East Legon. Everybody lives at East Legon. But by the time you realize, so you go to drop the person, and the person is lungu at Oponglo or Baoleshi. So these are the realities of our time. So wherever you live, please don't be shy about it. Make sure you are available, and then make sure your structure is labeled. So if it is a kiosk, be proud of it, but work hard, work towards bettering your lot as an individual. So that is by way of structures. And within a structure, you could have more than one household. A very opulent family would have a whole house, then the father and his wife and 2 kids. That's one household. But our kind of United Nations houses, every room is a household. Every single room is a household on its own. So the exercise they are doing from today, the 13th, up to the 26th of June, is to come into a house and count the number of households.
Okay.
So the landlord has his family. That's one household. You won't say because he's the owner of the house, they are living, because he represents the household. If he wanted it that way, he shouldn't have taken people's money to share the space with them. So you are cohabiting, so to speak. You are sharing the same space.
So to say it in the layman's words, so let's say in a compound house with about 7 chamber and hall rooms, that is, we are going to have 7 households.
Exactly.
That's clear. Okay.
Yes. So you see one building, but 7 households. When we were here in Legon, maybe a little over a decade ago, look, man, I don't know where you were at that time. I was in the Kwafo of my first year, and then my colleague from senior high school, he perched me. You didn't have those Hilali, man. The buildings were coming up, but they weren't inhabited at that time. So we had a percher for each of the bank beds. So you had 8 instead of 4. We had 2 more in addition to the one final year student, 3 more, 11. And then we had ground perches or floor perches. People would actually come and then sleep on the floor. You could have 2 or 3 of those. So one single room here could be 10 households. And that perching idea transcends the university community. People are perching. Oh, can I use your veranda? Can I use this? So the one who sleeps on your veranda is the household on its own. Even though your room is a single room with your wife, the one who sleeps out is another household and should be counted as such. So please, let's be minded by this, so that all the take a household to mean a room, so to speak. So to be upfront about it, we say how many rooms are there, because you hardly come across any room that has no occupants in this city. So get them involved, get them counted, inshallah.
Inshallah. Okay, so one thing about labeling the households and structures is that people should expect that the census officials are going to leave a tag on the house or make a mark on the house to prove that this household has been counted, or it's just that they are going to input it in their documents and leave?
That's a very good question, Lokman. They are supposed to physically label the structure, because they will come with devices. And the essence of this prior exercise is just like a mock before the main exam, as to do a map out of the areas they will cover. We live in a GPS, digital system. So when they come to a neighborhood, at Abraka, for example, and they've labeled maybe 1,000 houses, when they are done with the census, they can't key in, because the labeling they did before the main counting would indicate that the process is incomplete in that area. Yes, of course, there will be a margin of error. No system is perfect in this world. But then they are trying their utmost best to make sure that as many of the houses. I have an elderly friend. He said he and his whole household, nobody showed up in 2010. So I believe they want to use digitization to avoid some of these. So the essence is to map out in a digital way, but for you to know that you have been included in the digital database, there should be a physical mark that they will leave behind. So that, just as I told my security man that if they came, he should let me know. If I go and then tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, they don't come, I will raise alarm.
No.
That you've not labeled me, it means that you won't count me on census day.
That's true.
And that is the kind of individual proactivity or proactiveness we will ask from the Ummah. Yes, here on campus, I was trying to reach your national president, Imam Abdul Wadud. We couldn't talk. We need to use the infrastructure created by JIMSA. But all of this is capital intensive.
That's true.
Because if not, with JIMSA members alone, we can scout the counting and make sure the right things are done. Yeah, but it's capital. You are doing this a month or two before the election. That's when your activism started. It's a 10-year, exercise. Yeah, so we have entered the fray a bit late. So there should be a physical way of marking you out. And then they will ask you, you live in a structure, but what comfort do you have living there? Do you have a toilet facility? Sadly, in some of the homes that are rented to people, there may be one toilet facility, and it is close to the landlord or landlady and her children. And there is a gate that barricades that facility from the rest of the tenants or the rest of the house. There are houses in Accra where they tell you 7 o'clock, I want to mean you so washroom. They will actually lock it. There are houses where if you report home or you get home after 8 p.m. and something happens with your tummy, you have to empty your bowels. It has to be sheeted, or you have to do it in a polythene, because your landlord or landlady says from 7 o'clock you don't have access to it. And we call ourselves a lower middle income country. There are pregnant women exposed to infections that go and queue to go to a public toilet facility. So this process, this exercise for me, Lokman, is more important than an election. Because this is non-partisan, it goes to the very heart of the comfort and dignity of human life and human livelihood. So it is important. And it's not good to leave your toilet facility in a sorry state. And educated people even here in Legon, unfortunately. I'll tell you a joke. When I came to Legon in August 2008 from Opokwari School, I was so excited. We didn't have smartphones the way we have now. Ericsson was king, no, Nokia was king at that time. Sony, you could flip. You could take videos, but you couldn't transmit and all that. So I went to E25, my room, Akwafu Hall. Then I said, wow, this is the university. And before I came here, fairy tales had been told. That in Legon, you can't even drop a trash. You can't litter Legon. Yeah. So I came and then I looked at the room and then went to the washroom. I didn't know, because people had gone on long vac, the place was kept spick and span. It was so clean. I was actually taking videos. Only for me to have the shock of my life, only a few weeks later, that SOS is a huge enterprise. Certainly, I couldn't have been proud of what I saw weeks down the line. Yes. So you are as good as your place of convenience. Yes. Some of the homes, unfortunately, you see, people can't even spend 5 minutes in the bathroom because it stinks. It is, yucky. It's slippery with, maggots and all that. The Prophet ﷺ said, "An-nazafatu min al-iman." Cleanliness is. You don't have to have so much. Look at that. Some of our mosques, the Juma mosque, you can't go and perform ablution. You have to perform ablution from home because you can't stand the stench.
That's true.
So what is the essence of, ironing your jalabia or your shirt, or the way we were doing here on campus, going for lectures, you are, well dressed, and you go and do SOS after lectures.